You can't see Fade in.
I need a username. And I have a great one. Little Kid Lover. That way people will know exactly where my priorities are at.
By the way, he gave me permission to touch him. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap.
No, God!
You shout like that, they put you in jail right away.
No, God, please, no! 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 No!
No trial, no nothing.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists.
How dare you?
Put a chick in it, make her gay.
Serious crap.
Any diverse woman in it, make it gay.
This is the first time that we see a woman and the first time that we see a black woman in this area and this world.
But Mrs. Kennedy, Bambi's a baby deer.
Baby dear, put a chick in it, make her gay.
I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every conceivable opportunity so you can Arendeas.
Sexism in gaming.
Pronouns. Gender ambiguity.
If I had a gun with 2 bullets and I was in a room with Hitler, Bin Laden, and Toby, I would shoot Toby twice.
No.
Okay,
You were
all
being
right.
really funny, and then you went too far.
It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Yake.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come. You keep doing that, no one up here is gonna call you Donald Trump anymore. We're gonna call you Donald Duck.
Weird, weird.
Are these proof of extraterrestrial life? The alleged remains of non-human beings were displayed in Mexico during its first congressional hearing on UFOs.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay
everyone?
calm.
What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
You serious?
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
Actually talking about there at the NRA meeting that's today in Texas. Someone should bomb that building.
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker. I'm coming to kill you in Los Angeles at your house. Or in the ring? No, in real life.
Oh, damn it. Hang on, guys. I gotta get my camera turned on. I thought I had this thing working. What the hell?
Oh, we haven't done a live stream like this in a while, so of course it's going to have technical difficulties. All right, well, I'm glad you guys are here. Do me a favor real quick. If you haven't checked out Meta PCs, go check them out. Link down below should be pinned down in the description, as well as my shop, although I should have had it brought up here on stream. I'll try to get it brought up real quick here. I'm not too afraid of what's going to pop up, although honestly, spending time looking up Alyssa Mercante and the shit she posts on Twitter, I'm like, I can't put half of that on my live stream. That is insane. I feel like I'm missing an item. I'll have to figure that out later. Alright, anyways guys, minimaleffort.shop is where you can go find all the news, my merch, I'll put all my videos on there as well. And of course, you can always find me on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, all those other degenerate sites as well. Although I tend to prefer YouTube and Rumble over most anything else. I do put all my videos on everything though. So tonight I just kind of wanted to go over a few of these topics that we've been talking about on the channel. A couple of the ones that are trending that are getting really, really spicy. So this whole thing with Alyssa Mercante. Alyssa is probably... I was telling my wife about this because she hadn't actually seen the clip that we're going to go over here in a minute. And I was trying to describe it to her. I'm like, you remember that thing Frosk did? And my wife was like, oh god, I forgot about that name. And I'm like, well, this is worse. This was legitimately worse than Frosk. Because at least Frosk, there was a sense of professionalism, like it was a corporately packaged and scripted thing. With what's her ass, Alyssa Mercante, it's simply like somebody who has absolutely no control over their own narcissism and self-absorbed personality issues, where she was doing that entire thing for herself. Not planned, not scripted, not like... I know that she knew that she was going to do it, but the way she did it, she made it entirely about herself. And of course, if you haven't seen the video yet, we're going to get into it, so don't worry. So, I just wanted to kind of highlight some of Alyssa Mercante's functionally disordered issues she has. Smash JT had this tweet he put out a couple weeks ago showing how she apparently is basically obsessed with Smash JT, a YouTuber who she actually has been trying to essentially dox, and she's DM'd his wife trying to get her to divorce him and all that good stuff. She's posted things like this on Twitter from this guy Khalif Adams, who sent her some merchandise. And again, this is about the whole Stellar Blade thing, saying were we misled, same with Helldivers 2. Alyssa Mercante just DM'd my wife again. The Come Fight Me video, yeah, you'll see it in a second. The funny thing is, there have been people who have actually offered to take her up on that, and of course, I don't see her responding to any of them. I have to look at her on a different browser because she's got me blocked on 2 of my accounts. And so, I've been waiting for a response. I'm waiting to see if Alyssa's actually going to respond to somebody and say, okay, we'll schedule it, because it's like, hey, there are women, actual biological women that are out there that are willing and ready to fight her. Like Mara J, the YouTuber, she's ready to go. She's got like 3 first place trophies in like jiu-jitsu or mixed martial arts or something. She's ready to go. But of course, Alyssa's not going to fight her. No, she's going to talk big behind a microphone. So yeah, Alyssa's been antagonizing people as much as she possibly can for as long as she can. And so if you go to like her Twitter page, right? If she doesn't have you blocked, you go to her Twitter page, and this is the kind of shit that she's posting. This whole thing about the trans bullets from Call of Duty. Saying how, oh, it's almost like reactionaries are allergic to research. Oh, Norton, go away, I don't care. I know I expired, I'll get some more, don't worry. This post from over the weekend, get on loser, we're gonna go make Star Wars gay. Again, entirely designed to be provocative, to try to get people, like, to incite anger and shit towards her. Again, because she gets off on all that. It's the craziest thing to see somebody who is so downright obsessed with their own ability to trigger people, and yet she wants to say everybody else is like a reactionary or just like a bigot or hateful, and yet she herself is probably the most hateful person I have ever interacted with online. So much so that when I called her out on it a couple times, I ended up on her YouTuber list, and she blocked both my accounts I use on Twitter. So, I mean, that should tell you all you need to know about the kind of person she is. Sorry guys, my kids wouldn't go to bed. The Mariners were up, or tied 4-4, and the kids wanted to stay up and watch them, so of course they made me do everything very last minute here. which sucks because like I was trying to have everything lined up ready to go. Oh, the joy of multitasking with kids. Hang on a second. I apologize if the music is ass. I'm using whatever free music that's not copyrighted that I can. Oh, you know she'll end up at the UN or some crazy shit like that. The fact that she is able, and I say this not being jealous because Kotaku is a garbage website, but the fact that she is able to say this shit that she does as somebody who's supposed to be working for a professional corporation. I mean, look, I'm self-employed, okay? I say basically I'm uncancelable because I really am. If somebody found out my real name and tried to dox me or contact my employer, well, I work with my family. I am self-employed. I always have been. I always will be. The YouTube thing, that's not my career. It's not a job. It's a hobby which has turned into more of a full-time thing now. But like, that's not my job. My real life job, I can't get canceled. You can't call my boss and get me fired. So I'm not in that position where she'd go after somebody like me, but somebody like Smash JT, he has a 9-to-5 job, it sounds like. So all these people just want to go and get him fired from his job because they don't like his opinion. But for some weird reason, we're the hateful bigots. And I know that Smash JT has done the whole in Kotaku thing, and a lot of us would like to see all these games journalists lose their jobs and have their companies shut down. The difference is these people are coming from a corporate platform, from a business that is an actual corporation worth millions, if not billions of dollars, because they're all these conglomerates, right? Acting like these complete lunatics, and yet they're protected by a corporation, but Smash JT, who's a YouTuber, who he could work for some, small business, they want to get him fired. It's not equivalent to saying games journalists are evil, maniacal people. It's not even close to saying that, they're not comparable. The way she conducts herself, I'd like to think that somebody like her could eventually push it too far, but I don't know, Leo. I don't know that she could actually get charged with anything. I don't know that they would actually put her in jail. I mean, look at the way our justice system, not to get too political, unfortunately a lot of this does kind of intersect with politics, with the way the world is going. A lot of these people, the judges in place don't actually try criminals. They don't actually convict them or punish them. Even if a jury says this person's guilty of X, Y, or Z, the judge ultimately is up to them to sentence people and to, mete out the punishments. And so it's like, if the justice system itself won't punish people, then people like this are just going to keep on being the same psychotic degenerates that they are. Completely different subject. I was just thinking about it because I've got my lights, my LED lights behind me on the wall, going up the ceiling and shit. My wife and I are talking about moving. But here's the funny thing. We're going to move possibly in the next month or two into another apartment that's identical to the one that we're in, except everything's been completely updated. So our apartment is super old. So the one that we're looking at moving into has everything brand spanking new floors, new appliances, new walls. It's going to cost a lot more money, unfortunately. But the reality is, it's going to be worth the money because our apartment is so old, everything's falling apart. Hey, Trashy Drifter, how's it going? The downside is, I just put up LED lights in all my kids' rooms. They're all the smart lights where you can control them and shit. Yeah, it's going to be interesting having to move everything across the parking lot and then up the stairs into a new apartment and then try to figure out, are we going to leave everything the same? Or I'm not looking forward to it. I'll look forward to it once it's all done. But in the meantime, I'm just like dreading it. So anyways, let's get into some of this stuff. Let me kill the music so we can actually listen to the videos. And we'll go full screen for this. Hang on. Okay, hey, my alerts didn't all pop up at once. Thank God something's finally working properly. All right, so I did this thing today. I don't know if any of you guys can see this. We'll go full screen on this in a second. After Alyssa did her unhinged video, basically insulting everybody she possibly could in a 40-second clip, I was like, this reminds me of Frosk. And this is before I started seeing people saying Frosk 2.0, that she had her Frosk moment. And so I tweeted out today, I'm like, okay, first we had Frosk. Next came Alyssa Mercante. What came after, we were not ready for. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Alyssa Froscante. And then I created this thing. Now, you got to give me a break because I wasn't on my computer. I was using my phone, but I think the editing job is decent. I tried to line up her face as much as I possibly could. And, you know, size being relative, I think I did a decent job. The only problem is, apparently Frosk in that situation, because the shadow on her neck looked a little bit darker than the picture I used of Alyssa. But I think, honestly, it's a pretty good, pretty good Photoshop, in my opinion. At least for, you know, the 5 seconds I spent on it when I was at work today. So yeah, I was noticing that this rant of Alyssa's was really reminiscent of Frosk. So if you haven't heard Frosk in a while, if it's been a while since you saw this video, I'm going to play a few seconds of it for you guys to remember. A little trip down memory lane.
Sexism in gaming. I was ecstatic to be part of something that I grew up watching as a child. But every time G4 is brought up in various channels, without a doubt, there will be backlash because I'm not as bangable as the previous host.
You know, I want to know, because this was a whole lot of mental illness on display right here. I want to know what was going on behind the scenes that led up to this, because honestly, I can't imagine getting on any sort of network television show, even an internet show, in front of this size of an audience and talking about how I'm not as sexually desirable as somebody else. I don't know if that requires a great deal of self-confidence or a lack of self-awareness to be able to actually utter those words, but we'll just let it play for another second here.
It has somehow been expected that you can talk about how much you jerked off to women as a compliment. It's not a compliment. It's weird. It's dehumanizing and it's weird. Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. Morgan Webb, Olivia Munn did not exist to be nice on the eyes.
The funny thing about that was the whole hypocrisy of the reality that those women existed only to be nice on the eyes. That was the entire reason they were on the show. So of course you get to the end here and it pretty much ends the way you expected.
Biases ruin my day and you're gatekeeping the gaming space. So maybe we be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the
dog
fact
hides
that
in the
people
shade,
are
in the shadow. You can't even see
to
him.
make free content for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
Now I'm gonna say again, that being said, as terrible as that clip was at the time, it wasn't as bad as Alyssa Mercante's here. So again, if you haven't seen Alyssa's yet, it's this 39-second clip from over the weekend when she was at this Xbox Games Showcase Summer Game Fest. One of these groups of people, I think it's called the something bombers. I can't remember what it was called. Anyways, Game Bombers, it's something GB. I'm just gonna play it and you guys can enjoy. Hang on.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder.
Look at that face. Okay, I cannot let this play without just commenting on this one thing. The pure level of self-obsessed narcissism on display here. This woman, I've said before and I'll say it again, definitely the most vile person I've interacted with online. Bourbon, stop barking. Come here. But the actual level of, when you look into her eyes, the amount of self-absorbed, like self-obsessed, I don't even know the word for it at this point. Just pure evil. The woman is completely vile.
About people being mean to other people. And maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
They say
maybe
history
say
rhymes,
we don't
right?
want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker.
Senior editor of Kotaku.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Again, the funny thing about this is I'm not going to try to dig it up because there's way too many tweets of Alyssa's to dig up to, you know, make a point about this. She has one of these posts because she's obsessed with fitness. Yeah, she's in shape for a 90-pound lesbian-looking rat. But she has one of these posts where she's at the gym posing in front of the mirror like she does because she's completely, obsessed with herself. Talking about how if you're a femme-presenting person, come work out with me and I'll give you free tips or train you or something. I'm like, so you could be anything and call yourself female or present as female and she would treat you like a woman. This is the level of complete mental illness on display with somebody like Frosk, okay? So yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days. And what I find funny is that despite the fact that they've continued to go after Smash JT, try to get him fired, try to go after his employment, try to go after his wife. They're still posting shit thinking they're the good guys. Like, okay, for example, this post from a few days ago. She took this old t-shirt from Firefall, the game that was the failed game from Grums, right? The one that apparently they spent a whole ton of money on the bus that they had that was supposed to go around, you know, as promotional material, and the game flopped and all this shit. She says, trans lifeline auction of Firefall merch coming soon. Okay? Because Alyssa, this is her whole grift, is she loves the LGBTQIA plus community because everything that is not normal heterosexual white male is good. That's the only thing to Alyssa that's bad is straight white men, okay? So she takes his merch and acts like she's gonna auction it off for some sort of trans lifeline community charity thing. Like, give me a break, dude. Completely vapid, self-absorbed person. So yeah, that's been an interesting thing to keep track of the last few days. I'm curious what comes next, because eventually, look, we all know Kotaku's going to go out of business. They're going to run out of money. All these different media companies are getting gobbled up. Conglomerates are buying them, selling them off, tearing them apart, breaking them down, combining them. So Kotaku's not long for this world. But where does she go after Kotaku shuts down? Because if you think about it, as far as I know, Anita Sarkeesian, a lot of these other people, all they're doing now is like the game developer conference grift where they go and tell you how to not be a toxic gamer, how to develop things with the sensitivities of modern people in mind. What is Alyssa gonna do when Kotaku's gone? She jokes about going back to being like a cam girl, but it's like, no, you're too old for that. And honestly, if there was that good of money in it, she never would have switched to Kotaku, in my personal opinion. All right, well, that being said, let's get into some of the gaming news. We've talked about this Concord game in the past. Honestly, looks like dog shit to me. I'm not big on the whole Overwatch thing, and personally, I find games like Valorant and Overwatch to be incredibly tedious. The crowd that plays them tends to lean heavily towards, again, the women who complain about toxic gamers, the feminists, the LGBT mafia. All these people seem to like they're magnetically drawn to these games for some weird reason. I don't even know what it is. Apex Legends didn't used to be that way. When Apex Legends first came out, I remember, you know, watching a few trailers for it. I played the first season and I was like, this game is freaking fantastic. Actually, Apex Legends is what kind of got me into thinking I wanted to do streaming. So when I first joined Twitch, I was playing Apex Legends on my Xbox and streaming it to my wife's computer, which at the time could barely run Streamlabs. I'm talking her computer. I thought the damn thing was going to blow up. And then it turned into what Apex Legends is today, where I don't even know if I currently have it installed on my computer because the game is just trash. It turned into Fortnite, it turned into Overwatch and Valorant, and everything is gay and LGBT and trans and all the backstory of all the characters. And it's like, look, I was just hoping for something that could at least give us like a Titanfall multiplayer experience, which is what Apex did. It gave us kind of a expanded non-Titan multiplayer version of Titanfall, which was great for a while, until they freaking blew up the map and made everything gay and then nerfed everything to hell. And then it got, you know, into esports, and once something becomes like esports popular, then honestly it becomes kind of cringe. So that being said, these games, the games like this, the games like what Apex has become, Valorant, you know, even to a certain extent, games like CSGO have a weird element to that, the crowd that plays them. But Valorant way more than CSGO. They've all turned into this Fortnite-looking trash, which is all about the characters' weird personalities. They try to make them as hideous as possible. They try to make them fat and ugly, and they're all gay. And it's because people like this. If you look at this Willow Morris person, who is a level designer for Fable, these are actual tweets. This guy responded to my Frosk tweet earlier and said, so this was from Gabriel Cheshire Vaughn on Twitter. I don't know if this is a actual screenshot or if somebody just put these together, but you have the ugly ass Fable chick on the left, and then this person, Willow Morris, who is obviously a biological male, on the right, saying, to be honest, this just makes me want to make more aggressively queer games. F the hate. I don't do this for you. I do this for 15-year-old me who thought they would never make games or be the woman they knew they were. Not gonna lie, I've managed to keep my head fairly well for this whole thing, but damn it, seeing these replies and the silly little likes number go up got me. Thank you, everyone. So Basically, they're getting validation by being on Twitter. That's kind of how these people exist. And again, this person, Willow Morris, level designer at Playground Games Fable, non-binary, trans femme, they, her, secretly a deer, mum, God, I hope she's not actually, or he's not actually a mom, opinions are my own, over in England. Which is funny how many people, I think honestly, America and England, we probably have the highest number of transgenders. And then, of course, maybe Malaysia, I don't know. I know that the whole Philippines, Malaysia, ladyboy thing is a real thing. So yeah, these are the kind of people that we have designing these games. So, of course, modern gaming being what it is, we got to talk about Dragon Age because it was one of the big topics in this whole Games Fest, Xbox showcase. Even the Ubisoft reveals today in the Ubisoft little teasers that they did. They had Outlaws and they had Assassin's Creed. Now, look, I think Outlaws, honestly, we don't even need to talk about it because it just looks bad. Looks boring. It looks like Mam Solo with the bad haircut and bad face. Not even the ugliest character by far. Just boring. But this Dragon Age shit is unreal. So we have this That Park Place article saying that the Veilguard character is rejected by players because they've been modern audienced. And I was going to bring up, in fact, let me grab real quick. I'm going to find the trailer on YouTube for the Veilguard because apparently the trailer is getting completely destroyed. Let me see here. So, you know, Jackal, the thing about it is there's always going to be a certain number of people who are willing to spend their money on this stuff, even if it's morbid curiosity or, you know, there are people who, unfortunately, they have such loyalty to a franchise no matter how bad it gets. Like, okay, for me personally, I don't love the direction that Legend of Zelda has gone, but I do love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom for what they are. I wish we could have a Zelda game that goes back to the roots, goes back to the beginning, but I will continue to buy Legend of Zelda games regardless of what they do with them because I love the franchise. So to some degree, I can kind of get it that there's a certain amount of loyalty people have with a franchise where they just don't care. They'll just buy the game, play the game anyways. And on that respect, like I kind of can sympathize a little bit, especially with people who've played like Elder Scrolls since the beginning or even, you know, whatever franchise. But then there's at some point you got to realize, like, look, things are never going to get better if you keep giving them your money. And look, Target, okay, for example, look at this way. Target last year as a company was putting out that god-awful Pride, tuck your penis in your swimsuit, pretend you're a girl for June shit, right? They put that right in the front of the store for a lot of locations. Enough of us stopped shopping at Target. I stopped shopping at Target from May through November of last year. I made it all the way almost to December. My wife and I had to grab a couple things at Target for Christmas for presents or whatever. But I went like 6 months without shopping at Target because of that crap. Target then decided this year to back off of most of their Pride crap. So you can have honest to God actual effects, like positive effects by just not spending your money. These companies will eventually realize we've pissed off enough people. Maybe we need to dial some of this stuff back. And again, none of us are asking companies, because we know it's not going to happen, to not get into any of the woke ideology and crap. But it's like, stop being so upfront in your face about it. Let me see. I've got this trailer brought up. Hang on. Here in Germany, you regularly encounter dudes with wigs and skirts, most time half bald old guys. You know, the funny thing about it is, was that it used to be, around here, we only had a couple people, and they weren't transgender, they were cross-dressers. You know, that used to be the thing. It's kind of like how now, all of a sudden, every drag queen is a transgender, whereas drag queens used to be just straight guys in drag that were getting off on dressing up like a woman. All of a sudden, like with all of the whole... everybody's part of the umbrella group. Now all of a sudden anybody who's a drag queen, which again, I don't personally understand the whole drag obsession. I'll never get it. It's kind of like how as a straight guy, I don't understand why women always have that gay friend. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I also don't understand drag queens. I don't understand the entertainment value. But hey, it's not for me, so whatever. Can't understand people who would buy games like Pokemon Scarlet. Yeah, I'm not saying that Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild are bad games by any stretch of the imagination. I think they're both 10 out of 10. I think they, in each of their corresponding year, should have both won Game of the Year. Tears of the Kingdom is I haven't even beat that game yet, and I've put like 100+ hours into it. Fantastic game. I just wish that they would return to their roots. You can do it for a really long time. Microsoft is really massive, unfortunately. So currently the Veilguard trailer, I'll bring it back over here. You know what's funny? Let's just watch this. I haven't even watched this yet. Let me unmute it. Hang on. I'm not gonna get copyright claimed for a trailer, right? Like, people react to this shit all the time. I should be good. God, I hope they don't copyright claim this.
Not looking good, old friend. This'll take more than you and me.
What are you thinking?
We need someone to be our eyes and ears in the shadows.
And someone to bring a little darkness to the daylight.
I hate these costumes. What the hell? Okay, it's been a really long time since I played Dragon Age. I don't remember it looking like this. I know a lot of people criticize like the actual cinematic, the graphics, like the Fortnite look. Yeah, I get that. I hate the whole Fortnite look. Like, I'm on board with that. What I'm talking about is like the actual design of the costumes and the armor and stuff. I do not remember Dragon Age looking like this.
We're going into the fade, aren't we?
Yeah, and this right here. This right here. Oh my god. This reminds me of that horrible, awful Willow TV show that Disney Plus put out. I got into the 5th episode. My wife and I started the intro of the 5th episode. I said, I can't take this anymore. We turned it off, and then they pulled it off Disney Plus like a few weeks later. For some weird reason, I get like that really bad Disney Plus vibes from this show, from this game.
Going into the fade, aren't we?
And digging up a lot of buried secrets.
Oh, and that guy too. What the hell?
What about Darkspawn?
Yeah. Someone who will stand between us and a pack of...
These are Darkspawn. No. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Dragon Age was really dark and gritty. Not scary, obviously. It wasn't like a horror game. But there was a lot to do with like actual demons and different types of demons, if I'm not mistaken, that came through the veil. The Darkspawn, obviously, different monsters.
Like, what the
hell is
and
this?
A pack of demons.
You know there will be dragons.
Right. We'll need someone with fire in their blood. One more thing.
Of course, you got the Kunari female. So you've got the most badass of the characters is going to be the female. I mean, come on. Predictable, right? A little too on the nose. Hey, Piers, I was actually watching Some Ordinary Gamers talking about that because he's always been a big fan of Linux. If I can figure it out, either when I finally get around to just biting the bullet and ordering a PC from Meta PCs, or if I decide to build a second one from scratch, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna probably install Linux. The only thing is, I'm not sure how it operates differently from Windows. Apparently, it's like, whereas Windows has a bunch of stuff built in, Linux, you have to install things like secondhand or whatever. You know, I built my first computer 4.5 years ago. I had help, not physically, but like over Zoom kind of thing. So I don't know. That could be pretty tough for me.
This crew
I want to.
needs a leader. Someone we can count on.
Oh, V did? I think I saw. Was he live streaming it? I can't remember.
Can count on. But where are we gonna find her?
Dude, the color scheme's alone for this trailer. What's with the purple lettering? I mean, my God. I think it was, I was watching Dread Roberts' video talking about this. I think it was, crap, what's the YouTuber's name? not Markiplier, obviously, but one of those guys who's like a household name, saying, look, you can't blame people for being mad about this because this is just objectively bad from an advertising standpoint. This coloring, this is like, okay, do you guys remember that game that came out a few years ago? That I shit on this game all the time because it looked like trash. Was it Phoenix? The Greek, like you go around killing monsters and you look like the little pixie lesbian looking chick. It had Fortnite graphics. It was honestly the first thing that kind of clued me in that this is the direction all these games are going. Immortals Rising. Phoenix Immortals Rising. And that game is like $5 now. And it had the same god-awful kind of color scheme and the writing, it's just all bubble letters and shit. And the character looked like this little lesbian. Like, that was this, oh, you get to defeat these gigantic Greek monsters and the stuff from lore and mythology. But it looked like Fortnite. Like, who in their right mind wants to play that crap? Just absolutely insane. So, okay, currently sitting here, and again, I've explained to you guys it before, the downvote extension for Chrome doesn't even accurately report half the time how many downvotes there are. Sometimes there could be like 50,000 more downvotes than what they're showing you here. Oh, this guy right here, Mr. Matty Plays. I knew it was a normie YouTuber.
I've said this many a time before, but in all honesty, I don't think it's ever been more true than this time right here. And I need to start following my own word a little bit more.
Where is this part of the...
Because
I don't want to play his whole video, but there was part of it where he basically says, look, you guys did this to yourselves. As far as advertising goes, you made the worst possible choices with how you decided to, advertise this game. Between the actual cinematic, the character design, all of it. It's just bad. It's just bad across the board. So yeah, there you have it. And it just looks like cringe. And this character, even because the Kunari are not human, obviously. They're big, hulking, brooding, monster-looking people with, what, horns on their head, if I recall, right? But that face is so god-awful but ugly. Hey, Tomby, how's it going? There's currently no mods in here right now. Richie and Hunter are both East Coast. Hunter, I hope he's doing okay. He's been trying to find a place to crash. And I don't know where Richie is. Richie's in Michigan, but he's always like up super, super late streaming, so we might be modless tonight. That's okay. You guys are all super cool. I'm not too worried about any of it. Yeah. Absolutely dog shit looking characters. And Dimion says, none of the characters look very interesting. They all look like they've been modern audienced. F me, BioWare. Yo, I got on here. Check it out, guys. I didn't even know I was in this article. This was a banger tweet. I said, yeah, y'all, Kathleen Kennedy did the shit out of this. I think John Trent follows me on Twitter. He could have seen that if he follows me. Yeah, John Trent wrote this. I didn't know my tweet made it in there. That's hilarious. Buy a cheap SSD and install Linux onto that in your old PC. Linux Mint is a good starter and comes with heaps of pre-installed software. It's easy to install new software from the software manager. Yeah, so I assume with Linux, because Windows comes with like the Windows Media Player and all that other crap, right? So it's basically like the bare bones minus the ability to like play videos and open pictures and stuff, right? Behave yourselves. Nah, you guys are all, despite what people like Alyssa Mercante would say, none of you guys that come in here and chat or on or comment on my videos are these horrible, evil, toxic, hateful, spiteful people. In fact, I feel like a lot of people in my comments are in the same boat I am. You're in your 30s to 40s. You have a wife or a girlfriend or kids. You are just trying to pay your bills and enjoy your video games, and you're sick and tired of a bunch of Karens and feminists lecturing you. And I think that's honestly the majority of people. There was one time, I think I saw one comment where I was like, yeah, that's gonna get, that's gonna get somebody in trouble, so you gotta knock that shit off. But in general, most people are pretty chill. It's just like, we're tired of this. Here you go. One is a gritty, mature Dragon Age we fell in love with, the other a checkmark Overwatch clone. What is that? I haven't seen this tweet. Okay, so you got the gritty one on the left. Was this the original game? Was this concept art or something? I'm not sure what this is. Yeah, look at how bad this is. Oh my god. Why purple? I mean, I know why. I know why it's purple. I'm sure you guys know why it's purple also. It's the same color scheme that they go with everything with. It's like the pinks and purple and yeah. It's the whole LGBT trans stuff. It's intentional. I mean, look, it is absolutely intentional. Dread Roberts said, I thought this character's name read Trash the Dragon Hunter. That's this Tosh character, the girl boss, Kunari. Looks cartoony. What is this, Fortnite? Yeah, okay, so here you go. I honestly can't remember how many Dragon Age games I've played and how many there were. I feel like there was Dragon Age 1, 2, Origins, and Inquisition, right? Was it 4 games total? Because I know that I've at least played 3 out of the 4, if not all 4. It's been a while. The Origins art was one of the starting... Okay. Thanks, Pavel. I didn't remember that. Was this one Inquisition or Origins? This might have been the art from Inquisition, I think. But yeah, compare that to this. Oh god, the character faces. This is looking like Rings of Power shit, guys. And of course, look, it's not enough in the original games that you could have different looking, different race, different, heroes that travel with you. They honest to God did it. You've got the Hispanic looking guy, you got the white dwarf, the Indian looking chick, Asian chick, black guy, the nerdy, geeky, effeminate white guy, white chick, girl boss, and then you, who of course is going to be whatever character you want to make. Purple equals corruption. Well, yeah, that's definitely one way to look at it. Purple is like, you combine all the rainbow colors, like again, the trans flag. You got the pinks and the blues and shit, and there you go. You got your purple. Is that why they do it? With the purple? Because pink and, was it pink and blue? No. Honestly, I don't care. I don't want to think about what colors they use. And then, of course, okay, this was a great one. You had this article from Kotaku Australia that said Dragon Age: The Veilguard looks exactly like the game fans hope for. Now, David Smith here. In fact, let's bring up Smash JT's website while we're at it. If you go to the Kotaku Detected part of it here, and you find Dave Smith, he is right here, the managing editor for Kotaku Australia, wants to hardware ban gamers for mean words in a lobby. And this is probably going to be his video he did on it. Yep. Okay. So that's who this dude is. So he writes this article saying that it looks exactly like the game that we were all hoping for. Now look, I'm not going to pretend that I was going to rush out and buy this game day one, okay? I wasn't. I haven't played Dragon Age in forever. They're really long games. I'm already trying to figure out if I pick up the DLC for Elden Ring, how I'm ever going to have time to actually stream it and finish the game. That being said, that's not going to stop me from buying the game. But I'm not going to be the first person to rush out there and say, oh, I was going to buy Dragon Age the day it comes out. I was going to pay $70 and $20 for the limited edition and $110 for the premiere edition. No, I wasn't going to do that. But I genuinely loved playing these games. Warts and all, they all had some issues here and there, but whatever. The games were genuinely fun. That being said, you got these gaslighting assholes over at Kotaku saying the trailer which opens with Varric and Scout Harding fighting back to back. Varric looks a little worse for wear. The year's taking a toll on everyone's favorite dwarven crossbow poet. But the trailer isn't just about familiar faces; it's about the new ones too. Rapid introductions are made. Blah blah blah. And it says okay. And you, the character who will unite them all and probably smooch them one by one on multiple playthroughs. We all know what you Dragon Age fans are like. It's fine. First of all, I got no issue with people enjoying the different options in a game, like with The Witcher, different romance options, with Dragon Age, with obviously Baldur's Gate's the one that they all love because you can have sex as a bear with whatever gender creature you want to have sex with. But I didn't play Dragon Age because of the relationship options. Sure, it's a feature in a game. Absolutely. If you enjoy the feature and if you want to explore the different options, have at it. I don't care. But it's weird that these people are always obsessed with the ability to sleep with different characters in games. And yet, if you want a heterosexual character or a game that appeals to heterosexual gamers and doesn't even like Stellar Blade doesn't even offer you the option of having relationships with different types of characters in the game. As far as I know, I can't play it because I'm not on PlayStation. But that game is bad because the male gaze. But as long as you have the option to have sex in a game with multiple characters of different genders and races, that makes it all... That's the whole safe horny thing. It's just every time the mask slips, it's all they care about is being able to have sex with a bear or another man or whatever. It says, one thing that jumps out right away is that Dragon Age The Veilguard marks a visual departure for the series. Its art design and character models appear more stylized than in previous entries, which preferred fairly grimy realism. They weren't real. Okay. I don't know that I would say Dragon Age was realism. Would you guys call Dragon Age, any of the games back then, like, realistic? This whole realism thing, like, look, we played Hellblade 2, finished it, like, what, a week and a half ago? That was realism, and that was terrible. Like, the graphics were distracting. They made even the characters who weren't ugly unappealing to look at. Dragon Age was never about realism. Like, what the hell are they smoking? Groom Guard. There you go. Nevertheless, it is good to see Dragon Age moving again. You might have also noticed that the title has changed. Previously announced Dragon Age Dreadwolf, its story appears to have changed course. I'm sure Solus still has a part to play in the game, but perhaps his role has been diminished a bit, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the reason, I still plan to hunt and cook that treacherous egghead. Okay. Yeah, because you're a real gamer. We know you are, but don't worry, buddy. Mr. David Smith, you're a real gamer. We all believe it. Learning the Law. Learning the Law is an account I've had a love-hate relationship with on Twitter. He one time decided to steal some stuff I tagged him in instead of reposting it, and reposted it as if he found it. I called him out on it. He is like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever, and then he didn't delete it. And then I called him out for attacking the... what's her name? Milena Jurgensen, the girl that plays Senwa in Hellblade. Calling her ugly. I'm like, dude, the game sucks, but she's not ugly. So he blocked me. And then he unblocked me because he realized he looked like a bitch and everyone was giving him a bad time about it. So yeah, I'm still going to use Learning the Law because I got no ill will towards the guy. I do think he needs to be a little bit more ethical, but whatever. He shared this thing here, Dragon Age Origins plus 2009 mod versus Dragon Age Veilguard 2004. Now, I will say this is not exactly like the best comparison, especially if this is modded over here, because you're comparing a human character to a dwarf. She is a dwarf, right? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure she's a dwarf. And dwarves are not meant to look, let's be honest, sexually appealing in this game. That being said, there is still the element of the whole realism thing, trying to make the skin texture, like, what is it with Hollywood and gaming where they're trying their hardest to put people at the forefront that have like weird complexions, weird freckle patterns? I saw a Target ad where they took some girl who had like blotchy skin, and I'm not talking about like pigmentation issues. I'm talking about straight up skin defect, and this is their model. I'm like, hey, I get it. You're trying to be representative and inclusive, but models are supposed to make you want to wear the clothing. That's the entire point of modeling. So putting people that are less appealing at the forefront doesn't make anybody want to buy your product. It makes you feel better for virtue signaling. But I feel like this is the same kind of thing. When you see things where it's just like all the skin looks kind of, pimply, or they have like weird freckle patterns and shit. I don't know. But of course, nothing is worse than this. This butt chin, perfect dark. Joanna Dark character. I swear to God, this is I don't know what they were smoking when they made this face. Like, okay, there's ugly, and then there's this. And look, I get it. Maybe this is an unflattering angle. This one here, though, doesn't look a whole lot better. And I got no dog in this fight either, because I didn't even play Perfect Dark. I think I bought it years after I stopped using my Nintendo 64. I don't know, back when I had my N64, before I got my Xbox, I didn't really play first-person shooters on my old Nintendos. Once I got my Xbox and played Halo, then I got more into first-person shooters like Call of Duty and everything else. Body green covering eyes, body green covering eyes, body green covering... What am I looking at? Oh, I can't see the emotes on here. Oh, I see, I got you. Yeah, I have to use my my multi-stream chat, which doesn't show me what your emotes are, unfortunately. I can switch it over to YouTube. There we go. Oh my God, this is her as a man. Perfect Dark transformed you into the ultimate secret agent. Joanna Dark's perfectly symmetrical, masculine jawline makes her the ideal candidate for disguising herself as a man on the most dangerous missions. One day she's Joanna, the next she's Jonathan. Oh my god. Okay, here's the best thing. Oh, I haven't seen DOA Mamiji on Twitter in a while. I wonder if I'm still following her or not. No effing way. Look at this. Honest to God. Okay, this is what I remember years ago of Perfect Dark. No, I didn't own the game. I never played it. It was whatever. Yeah, original Joanna Dark looked awesome. Look at that character, okay? Look at that versus this. Now again, this has that Starfield realism element. Like they're just trying to make her as hyper realistic as possible, but in doing so, it's because these people all do the self-insert shit. It's not that they want a realistic, like hyper realistic, attractive person. They want a hyper realistic, unattractive person. I mean, you see over here, someone's got the Silent Hill one. And again, I no dog in this fight either. I didn't play Silent Hill. I didn't have a PlayStation. But these faces, like what the hell is with these faces? I just, oh my god, you got Farquaad. Someone with decent Photoshop skills, please shop Farquaad's face onto her. God, I should have done that. Okay, here's an interesting one. Let's check this out. It says, this was the model that they had. They made her lips smaller and gave her a stupid bob short haircut in the game. I'm starting to think these designs are on purpose. It's to look, it looks too generic. See, she's pretty. Alloy and MJ2, yeah, exactly. Now, I would never... Okay, this goes back to like the girl that's the Fable actress. The actress in Fable, she looks pretty in real life. Is she drop dead gorgeous? No. She has a ton of freckles, which are not for everybody. But like this girl's, if you met her in real life, you wouldn't say, "Oh, she's a dog." Is she the most gorgeous looking person I've ever seen? No, but that's fine. She's a normal, healthy looking human being. But they take this actress, this model, and this is what they come up with. Like, okay. Jaws are somewhat similar, I get it. She doesn't have the most feminine face. But that's just butt ugly. Whatever happened to taking somebody, let's say, take somebody who's not the most like super attractive person and make them look more attractive? Can't you do that? Oh, see, here's a better representation. Here's the side by side. Yeah, that is not the same jaw. And she doesn't have this dimple in her chin. What the hell are they thinking? Oh, man. But yeah, so here you have, this is where this studio and a lot of the shit going down, this is where this all kind of starts to kick in here. So Packer Girl says, the Perfect Dark reboot foliage artist Maja Oberg says, I'm also trans, so happy Pride, my fellow trees, okay? So I'm the foliage artist on this game, and I'm so happy that we can show off what the team has been working on. And that's, again, talking about Perfect Dark. So again, if you think about the kind of people who are working on these games and the intentionality behind it. Speaking of which, where's my tweet at? I thought I had that brought up. I'm going to have to find my tweet. Oh god, that face. Let me find my tweet, hang on. Because I had something about this whole Perfect Dark thing that I wanted to talk about. Some stuff I stumbled onto this morning that was pretty interesting. Here we go. All right, so let me bring up this tweet. So everyone was kind of freaking out. Hey, is it Maki or Mackie? Good to see you on here finally. I know, dude, I stream super late, inconsistent. I'm gonna start doing this regularly. Monday nights we're gonna stream and just talk about whatever. And then I'm gonna try to do the stream on Friday nights, Friday or Saturdays, depending if I have to work on the weekend, where we play a game. So like, for example, what's today? The 10th? So when is the Elden Ring DLC coming out? I think it's coming out on the 20th. So that week I'll probably do like a Thursday. If it's a Thursday, we're going to do like a Thursday night live stream. I don't know, we'll see. Just depends on timing. I'm just going to do it whenever the actual game is available to play. We'll do our game stream that night. And it's going to suck ass because I haven't played Elden Ring in like a year and a half. I put 140 hours into it. I was in the process of recovering from being out of the hospital from my Crohn's flare-up where I was dying for 2 months. I was like, oh, I'm going to stream Elden Ring, and then I was dying instead. So I'm like, nope, that's not happening. 3:30 p.m. here in Oz. Well, it's 10:30 here, almost 10:40. Well, I think that's what's going to happen too, because I was honestly, for a long time, I was trying to figure out the right time to upload my videos. Because videos, when you upload them, it's all about the algorithm, right? That's where I'll have a video that I think is a crappy dog shit video, and it'll get like 10,000 views, 20,000 views. And I'm like, wow, that's embarrassing. Because I'm like, I didn't even put my best foot forward on that one, and now it's been seen by 20,000 people. Then I'll do one that I'm really proud of, and it'll get like 2,000 views. But I'll upload them the same time of night, but it's a different day. Sometimes I wonder, is it because I live streamed? Sometimes I'll be like, well, should I've uploaded it in the morning? But then when I upload things in the morning, they don't tend to get as many views, which is weird because most of my audience is in the US. But if I upload things overnight, they tend to do better. So what I chalk it up to is, I think, honestly, I'm just going to keep doing what I normally do, upload videos when I go to bed at night and stream as early as I can, but that's about it. Yeah, I know. I caught her. I've been watching her doing the showcase, like the Xbox showcase and Ubisoft and stuff today. I have not caught a live stream of her playing that, but honestly, like I'm kind of thinking. I was planning on. God, there are so many games. There are so many freaking games, guys. Dark and Darker, that Escape from Tarkov, like medieval RPG fantasy game, came out for free on Steam. And so I was like, hey, this Friday I should stream Dark and Darker. But it's like, now I'm wondering, should I just go back to starting to play Elden Ring again? I don't know. It's crazy. Oh, yeah, Mackie, the Dragon Age thing is bad because I'm pretty sure I played all 4. If there's 4 of them. If there was Dragon Age 1, 2, Inquisition, and Origins, then I played all of them. I'm pretty positive. It's embarrassingly bad. So here's what I said. I said, there it is. The studio behind the new Perfect Dark game is just another group of blue-haired leftists preaching DEI rhetoric. And what I found was, because I saw that Perfect Dark was being developed by The Initiative, which is a game studio that is part of Xbox Game Studios. And we all know about Xbox and Microsoft at this point, right? There's the whole, don't make women attractive. You have to take all these diversity initiatives into consideration. You have to not sexualize female characters because women's bodies are, you know, all that wonderful stuff that we've had to talk about the last few months. And then there was the whole, they're working on it with Crystal Dynamics. Crystal Dynamics, who came out and apologized for the racist depiction of people in the Tomb Raider games, and who is working with, I think, the current developers, if I'm not mistaken, on the new Lara Croft game to make her less feminine. This new one will be the 4th. Okay, so there was... So, was 2 Origins or was 2 Inquisition? Must have been 1 Origins, Inquisition, so 3 of them. Okay. See, I did. I played all of them. So, you've got that. You've got them working with Crystal Dynamics, which is a shit company at this point. And then I found on the Initiative, the studio's website, they have in this about them. It's very, very small company. They don't have a whole lot of information about them on there. But it says, we believe that people are our most important asset as we look to innovate and build the games of the future. And this is the part that stuck out to me about this Initiative studio that's working on Perfect Dark, okay? Valuing inclusivity and trust, we foster a collaborative, thoughtful, and self-aware environment where we continually strive to improve together. Now look, when I go to work, I don't go to work to be improved. I don't go to work to have my coworkers or my boss improve me. I go to work to pay my bills and to do a hard day's work for, you know, an honest day's pay. These companies, every company that has this shit in there about, like, it's not even like building each other up. It's about making each other better, holding each other accountable, being more inclusive, striving to improve together. You don't go to work to improve yourself or to improve your coworkers. You go to work to do your job and get paid and go home to your family. Okay? But that's all these people are obsessed with. And of course, I shared them the screenshot of the face, right? So the next post I put on here, I said, it's also worth mentioning the Initiative is working with Crystal Dynamics, who famously apologized for Lara Croft raiding tombs, you know, all that stuff. So it gets better. The Initiative lost half their workforce in 2022, with employees sharing their frustration with Microsoft for not caring about productivity. And this article from gamesindustry.biz talks about how back in 2022, half the studio departed, left. All their experienced developers, they all took off, right? This quote from the article I have here, and we'll take a look at the article, says, according to the outlet, staff were frustrated and didn't feel heard on key issues surrounding development. The team also said it was surprised at Microsoft's leniency towards the studio's lack of progress as a result. The developers were pissed off at Microsoft because Microsoft didn't care that the employees were slacking and not being productive. Now think about that. Company that's making Perfect Dark, making that ugly-ass character out of, what was typically a very attractive feminine female character that everybody enjoyed playing the game. I didn't play the game, but everyone else was playing Perfect Dark. I just wasn't into FPS games at that point. So that studio lost half their employees and a lot of their experienced workforce, and Microsoft didn't care at their lack of productivity. Web browser versions, huh? That's interesting. I thought there was Origins and Inquisition. Am I wrong? Hang on a second. Let me see. Not Monica Rambeau. Dragon Age Gay. Okay, so you had why is this not bringing up? This is weird. So you had Inquisition, that was a DLC. So you had Inquisition, Origins. I thought there was a Dragon Age 2. Yeah, Dragon Age 2. I'm so confused. Huh. Anyways, yeah, so you have the studio that was actually developing it basically slacking off. The guys were just jerking off at work, not paying attention, and yeah. And they got trusted to actually develop this game. Said several ex-staff also described the initiative's hierarchy as a top-down environment with studio head Daryl Gallagher and Newberger controlling a lot of creative decisions. One former employer said making games is hard enough, let alone when you feel like you can't get through to people making the decisions that affect everyone. Think about that. Oh my God. Some of the departures took place in September last year, around the time that the initiative partnered with Crystal Dynamics to create a reboot of Perfect Dark. It's no small task to build a studio and reinvent a beloved franchise. In creating the initiative, we set out to leverage co-development partnerships to achieve our ambitions. We're excited about all the progress. Well, guess what? You were excited a little too early. This was what they had to say. In this journey, it's not uncommon for there to be staffing changes, especially during a time of global upheaval over the last 2 years. So they're blaming COVID. That back in 2021, 2022, they were saying they're blaming COVID. Despite the fact that everybody was stuck at home and Twitch streaming, Twitch viewership, YouTube viewership was through the roof, higher than it's ever been. People were streaming on Disney Plus. People were watching more content than they've ever watched before. But the dude at the initiative wants to blame global pandemic for staffing changes over the last 2 years. Yeah, no. Give me a break. Origins, Journeys, Origins, Awakening. But which one's the first one? I'm so confused. Yeah, these people are all liars. They're all liars and snakes. All right, now we have Assassin's Creed Shadows because they finally released more trailers for it. So I haven't listened to this. I want to listen to this real quick here. Hang on a second, guys. Learning the Law says this is one of the most soulless voice acting I've heard in years of gaming. And it says it's Assassin's Creed Shadows. I just want to be able to hear this.
Who will take the lead?
We can sneak in.
Or just through the front gate?
Don't worry. I won't be alone. It's almost dark. No one will see me coming.
They will not stand a chance. But be careful in there.
Oh my God. That was dog shit. Wow, okay. I'm glad I hadn't listened to that yet because that's embarrassingly bad. That's like, let's get Young, yeah, to do some voice acting in this game. Why not? Dude. What accent did they give Yosuke? Is Yosuke now a black man with a Japanese accent? Did they give him an African accent? What the hell was that? Hang on. The first one was called Origins? Really? Why do I not remember that? I don't remember them actually calling the first one Origins. All right. Dread Roberts pointed out something hilarious, guys. I want you to listen to this if you can. So he says, Ubisoft, we picked Yasuke because he's a real samurai from history. Him being black had nothing to do with it. Also Ubisoft. Here's Yusuke's hip-hop / rapped theme combat music. Now, I thought for a second he was being hyperbolic. But if you jump ahead, this is like a standard combat scene. He's doing some smashing, clubbing these tiny little Japanese guys. It's like, you got a big black man beating up Japanese people. Not a good look. But if you go to about 1.5 minutes, now I'll make sure I get in the right spot. Just listen to the background music if you can hear it.
Who do you think you are? For the people? I am justice.
They honest to God gave him like a hip hop beat to his fight scenes. Explain to me why you would go, well, what is this, 1400s Japan? I can't remember exactly what year it is, but it's like, because he's a black man, you have to give him like this urban ethnic beat to his music. Black Samurai my ass. Sounds like the rap music the Turkish and Arab people in Germany listen to. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize there was that many Dragon Age games. But think about how embarrassing that is. This is Ubisoft. Okay, now look, Ubisoft is that company that got exposed for being pretty disgusting and not really caring. Despite the fact that I know the whole #MeToo stuff really got out of control and a lot of people were accused of things that they didn't actually do, unfortunately. But Ubisoft seemed to be complicit and guilty in a lot of that crap that was going on. Outside lecturing the native people, I'm sure the Japanese will love this. Hey, Dragon Core. Dragon, I'm sorry you missed the finale of Hellblade 2. Game was ass. So, I think when you stopped watching, it was on part 3, when we ran into the black chick, and the game only went downhill from there. Honest to God. It turned into basically hearts and feelings to make the giants go back to sleep, and the main bad guy was the Viking guy's dad, and the giants were just a figment of people's imagination, essentially, that he concocted out of their fear and hate, turned them against each other, and she was, I am woman, hear me roar, and it was complete shit. I'm like, Hellblade 2 was worse than I anticipated. I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. Now, we got to talk about Star Wars for a second. I know, typically I talk about Star Wars and entertainment and movies on my other channel, but this is something that I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard about yet, and I really want to talk about it. Japan loves new Assassin's Creed. Oh, really? I'm curious to see that for myself, because I don't know that Japan is so hyped on it. So I'm not sure if you guys are paying attention. Star Wars has this new show, The Acolyte, which thank God I am not watching. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to subject myself to that. I don't hate myself that much. That a lot of people are criticizing and saying it's just crap. They've got like these lesbian witches. The twin characters that are the good guy, bad guy are created by a lesbian couple and the Force. The Force is going to be a female character in the show, like an actual person. The third episode that's coming out, I think tomorrow, is supposed to completely destroy canon. Oh yeah, Dragon Core, it was bad. It was worse than you could have imagined. Place the Arab main character with an African, replace the Persian. And don't forget, Pavel, on the Prince of Persia one, they gave him the Killmonger haircut from Black Panther. So Star Wars is in a bad spot right now. And I don't know if any of you guys remember, but there's this whole thing about the Knights of the Old Republic remake that everyone's been talking about. Years ago it was announced. Then they got that psychotic chick, Sam Maggs, I think her name was, who was this uber feminist who hated Star Wars and hated Star Wars fans, that was gonna watch it. Watch what for? The show? I don't have Disney Plus, and I don't sail the high seas to go pirate things, you know? I could, but I don't. I don't know. My wife wants to get Disney Plus and Hulu bundled again together for like $10. I might. I don't know. The thing is, I watched, as a Star Wars fan, I made myself watch Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and I thought they were decent. I never watched past Force Awakens. I thought Force Awakens sucked. So I didn't watch Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I saw Andor, thought it was good. I saw Rogue One, thought it was good. Book of Boba Fett might be the biggest turd of a show I've ever watched. I did not watch Ahsoka. It looked boring. I did not watch Obi-Wan. I heard that he was a bitch on the show and looked pathetic. And I did not watch The Acolyte now. There's one other show that I'm missing. I was not going to subject myself to that. So I basically, like, I got through the Book of Boba Fett and I was like, oh, this is terrible. Then my wife, we watched Willow, the first half of it. The only reason I stayed in after episode 1 was my wife was like, no, we have to finish it. We got halfway through and I said, I'm done. She also made me watch She-Hulk, and I'll never forgive her for that. Yeah, Mandalorian 1 and 2 were fine. They were okay. I thought they had some good parts. They were kind of cheesy at parts. They at least felt like Star Wars, which is something that we hadn't had for a long time. Yeah, Andor was okay. Andor, they definitely tried to force in a lot of there was the lesbian characters. They tried to make it more gritty. It was almost too adult to be Star Wars, but it also felt the most like Star Wars, if that makes sense. Andor was definitely PG-13. I don't know. I might try to find a way to watch episode 3, because supposedly episode 3 of The Acolyte is when they completely destroy canon forever. So now we have Leslie Headland, who was the personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein for a year, apparently has come out and said she wants to make a live-action Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I am not kidding you. I don't know if any of you guys have heard about this yet, but this is for real. She is all like, start writing emails, start crowdfunding, okay? So we got this article here from Bounding Into Comics. It says, in proving that she is apparently a one-note pony when it comes to storytelling following her creation of The Acolyte, showrunner Leslie Headland has voiced her interest in doing another Star Wars adaptation based on a female villain with a gray conception of the Force. Again, I don't know where you guys fall on this entire concept of Star Wars and the Force, good versus dark Jedi, light versus dark. I think the entire gray Jedi thing is bullshit. Personally, that's just my opinion on it. I don't think gray Jedi should exist. I don't think it's a thing that's canon. I think you have light and dark, and that's it. I don't think there's going to be a Jedi who is somewhere in the middle, who pulls from the dark and from the light, and he's fine. That's like saying, the whole idea of like redemption through faith. No, you can still, sit in the middle and enjoy both the dark and the light side. No, you can't do that, Not if you're actually going to believe what you're practicing. So it says, the former assistant to Harvey Weinstein professed her desire to take on the fan-favorite video game series during a recent interview given to Brazilian entertainment news outlet Omelette. That's an interesting name for a news outlet, Omelette. Asked if she had any Star Wars dream projects she'd like to work on after The Acolyte. I thought this was her dream project. She said The Acolyte was Kill Bill meets Frozen. Okay? That was her pitch for The Acolyte. She says, I've always wanted to explore a live-action version of the Knights of the Old Republic game and the character of Kreia. I think it would be a very interesting story to bring to life. Please, God, do not let this happen. Do not let this happen, ever. Pressed further if said adaptation would possibly feature an appearance by the first Knights of the Old Republic game's iconic Darth Revan, Headland conclusively declared, we'll start writing some emails, start crowdfunding. So it says, Kreia is a former Jedi whose obsessive desire to understand the Force drives her to take more and more ethically questionable approaches to studying the power. Oh yeah, that's of course. Of course Leslie Headland loves that character. She loves the moral ambiguity of it all. Oh my God. Okay, so I don't know. I read all the extended universe books, and I don't know that, did they ever refer to him as a gray Jedi? Like, was that a, as far as the extended universe goes, because most of those books all work together. In the canon of the EU, did they actually use that term gray Jedi? Because I am not remembering it ever, not in a single series. And I might have just, I was a kid when I read them, but I might have just skimmed over it. Let's see what you say here. It says, not watching anything Star Wars, you watched Mandalorian for a little bit. That was it. Then yeah, Mandalorian was fine. It was nothing amazing, but it was definitely enjoyable. Used to love the movies, but hardly watch any nowadays. The Beekeeper is passable, but just another B grade Jason Statham. Yeah, Jason Statham is definitely a one-trick pony also. For me, he's like, you could take it or leave it. He just does one kind of movie. The current staff don't have the skills to create something like KOTOR 1 or 2 again. Yeah, I didn't even play the first one. The first one, because we had one Xbox in our house and we had to share, and we were all limited to game time. I was playing other stuff. I watched my brother play through like 90% of the game, and it was a long game for what I recall. But I loved it. I loved the game itself. I just didn't get to play it because, again, we had... I did a lot of working when I was a kid because family business and time limitations because my mom hated video games. So for me, it was like, okay, I'll play my game on the Nintendo and then I'll watch him play this game and I'll get my enjoyment out of it. So Jolie Bindo was a gray Jedi. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look that up because honestly, I know it's a topic of conversation a lot of people have about whether or not it's a thing. And I know it's a thing, I just don't know if it's a canonical thing. Like, if you ask George Lucas about it, I don't know what his opinion is on the whole gray Jedi thing. But yeah, again, this goes back to the people at Lucasfilm. I know there's a lot of people, some of you guys probably love Clone Wars, Bad Batch, all that stuff. I never watched it. Buffering, oh no. Yeah, I didn't play the second one. I don't think he ever got the second one. He might have played it, I can't remember. All I remember is the story for the first one was awesome. I loved watching him play that game. But yeah, Dave Filoni thought that Anakin never thought of himself as evil. Or thinks he does. I don't think Anakin ever thinks he becomes evil in life. I don't understand why people are trusting Dave Filoni as George Lucas's apprentice when George Lucas ultimately said he doesn't have an apprentice, that Dave Filoni wasn't like personally trained by George Lucas. These people are destroying Star Wars right before our very eyes. Even the people like Dave Filoni that people thought was like going to be the heir apparent to the throne of Lucasfilm, especially if Kathleen Kennedy ever like somehow managed to get fired, which is never happening, guys. I will never make another video again on my other channel talking about her potentially getting fired, because at this point now, I believe it is damn near impossible for her to get fired. Oh, Pavel, I know. Honestly, so... Let's see, Cal is struggling with the dark side. Those games are pretty good. Yeah, I tried playing Jedi Survivor. Everyone told me it was like Dark Souls, but Star Wars. And for me, I didn't like the mashup. I probably played like 3 hours of Jedi Survivor on stream a couple years ago. I just wasn't feeling it. I just could not make myself get into it for whatever reason. It's the weirdest thing, guys. I've said before, I do not like superhero games. I do not enjoy any game like and I feel bad because my buddy Hunter, he bought me Marvel Spider-Man. I have never played it. And I don't know, like I'll probably have my kids play it. We can share it on our Steam accounts. But like I just don't enjoy superhero games, and for me, Jedi Survivor, Star Wars lightsaber games, I'd rather play a spaceship, a starfighter game, or something more like akin to like maybe even Rogue Outlaws, just not with that god-awful character and the $130, edition of it, than I would a Jedi game at this point. I don't know. It's weird. Give me a coffee, Kathleen. Yeah, she brought that coffee all right and somehow got a job out of it. But yeah, Pavel, on your comment about single-player games, my kids still do that. And we have an Xbox, a Nintendo, and a computer that they can use to play games on. But they'll still like one of them plays the Pokemon game that I've got, or we'll all play Mario Kart together, or they'll take turns playing through Legend of Zelda, like the different Breath of the Wild or whatever. And it's cool because they're building memories together, even though, yeah, we have different consoles and they can play different games or whatever. There's still that element to it. I miss back in the day, because I was telling my wife about it. I'm like, things just aren't the same, and it sucks because when the first Halo came out, I was like 13 years old. Something in that ballpark. And that was back before we had Xbox Live. We didn't have high-speed internet. I think we had like 10 megabytes per second. And, you took your gigantic TV, you put it in your car, you put your Xbox and your extra controllers, and none of them were wireless. They were all wired controllers. And you go to somebody's house and you take 4 TVs and 4 Xboxes and 16 controllers and split screen on the TVs. And I would not trade those memories for any of my gaming experiences in the last decade. Like you can't buy memories like that. The Halo parties, the gaming parties we used to have. Yeah, the multiverse special. I saw parts of it. I still haven't watched it. For me, honestly, South Park's fine. It's like I can enjoy it. I don't think it's as funny as it used to be. Kind of like how Family Guy got to be, where it was just beyond cringe. Family Guy stopped being funny like a decade ago or however long ago it's been. But yeah, unfortunately, Star Wars has gone the way of modern gaming. And there are some genuinely good-looking games. I'm not going to say that it's all bad. So, for example, I'm not even the biggest Doom fan. Like, I struggled to get through Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal for me was just like, it felt too long for some reason. I just couldn't get into it. But if you go like Doom, was it Dark Ages? This game looks fantastic. Oh, I know Dragon Core. Honestly, like, you can't buy memories that good. Is it this one or this one? Minute 56. I think it's. We'll do the Bethesda one. Yeah, that's the Make a Game. So, you know what's funny? As far as like looking forward to games. So this Xbox showcase that I'm talking about now, they had that Age of Mythology retold, or whatever they're calling the remastery of it. You would think that that's a game that I'd look forward to because I loved Age of Mythology. I got the expansion packs for it, played the hell out of that game. Not as much as I played Age of Empires 2. But when Age of Empires 4 came out, I was like, oh, this is going to be like Age of Empires 2, just better. And then it was a letdown. So I'm looking at games like Age of Empires or Age of Mythology Retold the same way. Unfortunately, right now, with so many games being remasters or just like a reimagining of the same game, I can't think of any game. Okay, so I'm looking forward to the Elden Ring DLC. Okay, there's that. I was looking forward to Hellblade 2. Yeah, the only problem with the Xbox Showcase, Piers, was that half the games were like the Compulsion Studios, South of Midnight crap. Was the game Flintlock, was that Xbox Game Studios, or was that the Summer Game Fest reveal? But anyways, all the games that we've been talking about for this entire time about the DEI crap, they were all featured in the Xbox Showcase. Yeah, but honestly, though, I'm looking forward to this game. I mean, Doom Dark Ages seems pretty awesome based on the trailer. That and the shield is pretty badass, not gonna lie. Yeah, but Dragon Core, you gotta admit this one's pretty badass looking. Chainsaw shield. Now, like I said, I'm not even the biggest Doom fan. You can ride a freaking demon dragon, okay? That's pretty incredible. So I'm looking forward to that one. But again, coming 2025, okay? My birthday is this Saturday. I'll be 36, and my present's gonna be homelessness at the end of the month, thanks to asshole family kicking us out because they couldn't stand being left out of your grandmother's will. So they fought us in one. Wow. Isn't family great? So I've got a brother that I haven't talked to in going on, well, my twins are 9, so going on almost 10 years now. And they stopped because of, we stopped talking because they were mad at my mom, because of business stuff, because we all worked together, and there was drama. And basically, I got cut out by extension. So when they cut my mom out, they cut me out too. So I haven't seen or talked to my brother in almost 10 years now. At least 9 years. My dad is kind of the same. But I never, fortunately, I never got kicked out of a family member's house. That's a whole nother level of evil that I'm grateful I never had to put up with. That's really shitty. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, you know, honestly, the thing about it is, if you can find cheap ways to pay for Game Pass like I do, because I pay less than $10 a month for Game Pass, and that gets me Game Pass for my Xbox, my computer, and my kid's computer, so I can justify it in my head and say, hey, they're not making really any money off of me. I can check out games when they come to Game Pass day one. It's a win-win. That being said, it's unfortunate because at the same time, the subscription model is killing gaming. It's killing game studios. It's killing all these developers. But, you know, honestly, like, there are so many games. There are so many games that if you pay attention to, like, indie studios, the games that are being developed by, like, small teams that don't have all the corporate bloat, they sell their games a lot cheaper anyways. So I have a lot easier time spending money up front, even if the game is, you know, on sale or not on sale, like full price $20, than I would saying and going and giving Ubisoft or Xbox or Sony $70 for a game. No one can F you like family. Ugh, it's true. It is really true. Unfortunately. They say you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family, right? What else was there in the Xbox Showcase? Hang on, let me see. Xbox Showcase 2024. All right, so here's what we had. Gears of War. I played a few of them. Don't care. The Indiana Jones game. I don't know if you guys remember the Indiana Jones game has that dude with the pink hair that was talking about how they made it more inclusive. Call of Duty Black Ops has to be online 24/7. Avowed, I cannot remember what the deal is with that game. Age of Mythology Retold is going to be shit. Stalker 2. I never played Stalker. I actually have it, I think, on Steam. I don't think I've ever played it. Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be shit. Dragon Age is going to be shit. World of Warcraft, I'm pretty sure they already ruined a long time ago. Fable and Perfect Dark are going to be dead on arrival. South of Midnight is another one of those DEI fests. What is that? A DLC for Fallout 76? Really? State of Decay 3. Okay, I installed State of Decay 2 like 3 years ago. Never played it. I had it on my computer for like a year. Oh yeah, Dragon Core, that's 100% it. Yeah. You would think you have this undying loyalty and this care for your family that doesn't go away. Yeah. That sucks. So yeah, Flintlock, Life is Strange. Life is Strange is a game that always has gotten good like reviews, but I'm pretty sure it's just like a DEI fest. So yeah, the whole, what is that one? Wu Chang? I don't know. I'd have to look into it. How's your night going, Blu-ray? Indie games aren't a real alternative. Better to go through your back catalog. I mean, there are some indie games that are alternatives. I got a copy of a game that they asked me to review that I was going to do a video on, or maybe I was just going to possibly just do a playthrough of it on stream one night. It's a pretty cool top-down roguelike that is a German couple that they do all the art for the game is hand-painted, so all the characters, it looks kind of weird. It's kind of ugly, but kind of cool all at the same time because they're actually hand-drawn characters and enemies and stuff. The Fallout show. Okay, the Fallout show was fine. Again, I'm not a big Fallout guy. I played parts of a couple of the games. Was never my thing. I thought the Fallout show was okay. It had problems. It had issues. There were parts of it I really didn't like. But as far as shows go, I thought it was decent. But yeah, I think honestly there's only really a few positive things to take out of the showcase, if we're being honest about it. But yeah, Flintlock and Life is Strange, South of Midnight, Perfect Dark, Fable, Indiana Jones, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Dragon Age. There are at least 9 or 10 games on this list that are going to be dead on arrival. And that's just embarrassingly bad. Lego Horizon. See, I'm not a Lego video game guy. I've played a few of them. I just don't, it's not for me. I don't have a problem with them. I just don't like the Lego games. Like, I got burned out. My kid, back when I first got him his Nintendo, we got this Lego Hobbit game and Lego Spider-Man or Marvel or whatever it was. And so I played with those with him for a while, and I was just like, okay, this is boring, I'm done. But of course, we weren't playing the missions. We were just goofing off because he wasn't really paying attention. Avowed. I don't know enough about this game to have an opinion on it.
Come. Your Emperor has chosen you as our envoy to the living lands. That wild frontier suffers from the dream scourge. Find the root of this terrible plague.
Just looks like generic
and
fantasy
put an
game.
end to it.
He is wrong. The dream scourge is but a symptom of a deeper, more dangerous rot. Go, tame the chaos that plagues the living lands, so that those who remain standing
There's
can
like
shape
nothing in my
its
opinion
future.
that's interesting looking about this.
They both deceive you.
Blurry.
There is
There we
more
go.
wonder in this world than eyes alone can see.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not.
You must open yourself
The
to
Dragon Age
its
thing I'm not
mysteries.
interested in at all.
Tend to its purpose, no matter how wild. And become what the living lands truly needs. Its protector.
I don't know. This feels like they're trying to like go kind of Elder Scrolls meets Dragon Age meets almost. I'm almost getting, as weird as this sounds, kind of like crap. The other Amazon game that I bought a couple years ago, Amazon's RPG. They're Amazon Studios that they had. New World. I think it's called New World. I played that one for a brief couple of weeks until I got kind of bored with it. Fable. God. Gears of War, I'm sure, is probably fine. I just not a Gears of War guy. I played, like I said, I beat a couple of them. It just wasn't for me. South of Midnight. Oh boy. Looking at the AC Shadow gameplay roasting with Dread Roberts, yeah. Yeah, New World, that was it. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Lego games aren't necessarily for me. Like I said, I got no problem with them existing. I just probably wouldn't play them. Assassin's Creed Shadows, though, is going to be complete dog shit. What is this Expedition 33?
Product not yet rated.
Again, I didn't even watch most of this. I think when Veridark was streaming it, I caught like a half hour of it. It's an Eastern game, yeah.
Soon she'll wake and paint again.
Hey, Crawdaddy, how's it going?
Paint a new number, ticking down every year.
What
One
on
stroke.
earth is this?
And everyone of that age vanishes into nothingness. Every year she paints again. And every year, an expedition departs for the continent with one hopeless mission. Destroy the paintress so she can never paint death again. We'll break the cycle so she can't steal anyone else's future.
This world is full of wonders. Yet everywhere we go,
This looks
we
like
walk
another
with
Hellblade
death.
walking simulator.
Do you mean we're the only ones left?
I mean, oh, okay, no, this is actually more combat. Oh, okay. Oh, Oh, is this a turn-based combat game? No. This looks turn-based. I'm trying to think of the last great turn-based game I played. I think Gladius or Third Age might have been the last one I played.
Even if we fail, we lay the trail for those who will come after. Right? We are Expedition 33.
I'm not gonna lie, that actually looks pretty good. And I have no idea what to expect. No clue. But it's coming to Game Pass, so I could play it. Again, the big issue being all these games that they're advertising are coming out in 2025, which you know what that means. It means that they're not actually going to be out in 2025. It means that they're going to get pushed out. They're going to get pushed back further and further and further. Yeah, then there's this dog shit Flintlock game we've already talked about. Frag Punk. I'm good. Life is Strange. What is with the whole Life is Strange thing anyways? Isn't it like story driven? Mecha Break. There are plenty of other mech games. Mixtape, Nothing But the Hits. Oh boy, that's gonna be great. All right, Stalker 2, this one I'm curious about. Looks like a Square Enix RPG story, seems weird. Weird, yeah, but almost weird enough to be good. I've played some games that have stories that are obscure. Now, weirdest game I've played in a long time is that freaking Scorn game. Did you guys ever play Scorn? Scorn was freaking, like, it wasn't a scary horror game. They called it body horror because it was just disturbing. The grotesqueness of the game itself is what made it a horror game. Nothing actually scary like jump scares really happened in the game. It was just a demented game. Story was weird. No talking. I don't remember there being much music. But basically the game was just a complete mind melt the entire time. All right, let's check out Heart of Chernobyl. Hang on. I swear, I'm pretty positive I have the first Stalker game on one of my mini game launchers I have.
Скіфе, радий тебе бачити, друже.
О, бабушка.
Валимо звідси.
Pretty ballsy to use in-game footage.
Ви тільки погляньте
Unlike
на це.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Край, чарівний край черемоша й прута. Ти моя любов, ти рідна матінко моя. Жива.
Координати закинув. Поквапся.
Yeah, Pierce, as far as I knew, they were all like super woke. Like with the characters and stuff, right? Oh man, this game's gonna make me pee myself if I play this one. Oof. I do dig the weapon animations though. That's pretty legit. Alright, I'm gonna have to play this. It's gonna have to happen. It sucks, I gave up on, crap, what was the name of that game? The Russian one, Atomic Hearts. I got about 2/3 of the way through the game and I was just kind of like, I got bored with it. But I should have finished it.
Зараз час такий. Час можливостей.
Yeah, was that a Black Russian? I want to know how many Black Russians there are, like in all honesty.
Усі ці жертви, усі ці смерті. Який в них сенс? Зона така, якою бачиш її ти. Я ж показав тобі, якою я її бачу. Іди своїм шляхом, і тоді ти зможеш побачити зону по-своєму.
Okay, that one is coming to Game Pass. Oh, September 5th, 2024. All right, so we do get to play it. Didn't take long to start seeing the pattern of trouble. Yeah, honestly, from what I've heard about the Life is Strange games, I kind of feel like that's just how they would all go, is just the uber woke storyline and stuff. All right, we'll check out this Wu Cheng trailer, and then I'm going to probably hit the hay. I can't remember if I downloaded Diablo 4 or not. Honestly, I was debating whether I was actually going to play it. I just, you know, guys, I don't have the time, unfortunately. If I could be like one of these dudes who sits on his ass all day and gets paid to play video games, and I could check out every single one of them, then I'd be like, oh, okay, today we're going to mess around with a game that I just don't care about. But at this point in my life, it's like I have the occasional night where I'll sit for like last night or 2 nights ago, I was dead ass exhausted. We had my daughter's baseball championship on Saturday. We had a retirement party we had to go to. We were warm, we were tired, we were worn out. Sunday we ran errands. Went and got my family signed up over at the YMCA so we can start getting the kids some classes and stuff. And I was like, I don't have the energy to do a damn thing. So I put on my headphones, put some music on, and played Insurgency for like an hour. And it's like, I could play some game that's horrible that I just don't want to care about playing, or I can play a game that I know I enjoy, like Insurgency, and unwind for 45 minutes, you know? Those are the choices I have to make at this point in my life. I don't have unlimited time to play every game and check out every reveal and every title that's available. So it sucks. It's like, there are some legitimately decent looking games out there that I'll probably never play due to the lack of available time at hand. Which, it's fine, it's part of growing up and all that, but I've played a lot of bad games that I've wasted time on that I wish I hadn't, you know? The new Life is Strange game looks great. Well, again, you know, I'm not going to tell somebody you shouldn't enjoy what you want to enjoy. If you enjoy it, go for it. If somebody told me they loved Hellblade 2, then yeah, just whatever.
You never know you are a monster until someone comes to slay you. The first signs are really subtle, but over time, it becomes clear. The gift changes you, slowly consuming every little part of your humanity.
Is that an actual woman? Not abnormally hot. I'm over on the West Coast, over in Washington, where it doesn't normally get too warm, but we just had some really nice weather. But my daughter had to play 2 softball games back-to-back to determine who wins the championship. And so she, 9 years old, had to play for 2 hours, take a 45-minute break, and then go back out there at noon at, you know, middle of the day where it started to get warm, and then play for 2 more hours. So we were all a little exhausted. But yeah, only about like 75 degrees. Not too terrible.
It runs in my blood.
Huh. All right, that one looks interesting. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the other Asian one that came to Game Pass, Wo Long, I think it was called. I played Wo Long like probably for 3 weeks, and I was just like, yeah, it's like Dark Souls without being Dark Souls. Just whatever. Female Sekiro in short. Okay, yeah, female Sekiro, basically. I can't dispute your claims. You know, I wouldn't necessarily try to dispute your claims, although my wife is still working. She's not going to bed yet, so I guess I've got a few more minutes before she starts rattling my cage. Yeah, it's unfortunate because, you know, we homeschool, and then my wife, she has an Etsy store that she does full time, and she does that from home. And then our kids, aside from homeschool, we do baseball, and then baseball season just wrapped up. So now it's like a couple months where we don't have anything we have to go rush out and do. But basically every day after I get home from work, it's okay, go by the grocery store and come home, help her get dinner going, and then get things cleaned up around here. And then even if I don't do anything out of the ordinary, like tonight, I didn't get the kids out of my hair until right before I hit go live. And before that, I'm like, okay, I got to clean up the living room. I got to go finish the laundry. I got to go make sure that they've all brushed their teeth and gotten ready for bed. And then my wife, you know, she had to get started on work. And so she's going to be up for a little bit longer, still working in our room, working on putting her orders together and stuff. So it was pretty good. I'll have to check it out. Honestly, I don't know. I hate to judge a book by its cover half the time, although sometimes you can pretty easily do that. So for example, like Hellblade 2. I really didn't want to judge the book by its cover. And people were doing the whole, oh, they made her ugly thing. And I'm like, you're looking at edited photos that are not showing the whole picture. And sure enough, I was right about that, but the game still sucked, unfortunately. What does my wife sell on Etsy? She sells, I was going to say feet pictures. No. She does party supplies. So like birthday cake toppers, and she does birthday banners, and like the 3D paper letters and stuff. You know, all custom stuff. And so for like all of our boys' baseball send-off parties, when the teams were all done for the year, she made them all an actual like 3D paper baseball cap with their name on the back, and it opens up like a prize box, and it's got like, you know, candy and stuff on the inside. Oh yeah, Purple Sky, we could never do that. Honestly, that's one of those things, like, we had them in a little private church school for a while, and then COVID happened and everybody shut down. And then that church school tried to do the whole virtual class thing with our oldest kid, and he was in first grade at the time, and he hated it. At least our kids' preschool was able to do, like, they were dropping off like supplies every week for people to do all their stuff at home, and so that was pretty cool. Their preschool teacher was awesome. The school that my oldest kid was in when that happened in first grade tried doing the whole virtual thing, and that was complete dog shit. It sucked. So ever since then, we were like, well, we basically homeschooled that second half of the year, so we're just going to homeschool from now on. And otherwise, I'd have to spend, God, even the cheapest private school where I'm at would cost us at least a couple $1,000s a month to put all three of them in a school, probably more than that now. So yeah, no, who would want to leave their kids with the school system, especially these days? Not me. Not a chance in hell. You all done? Okay. I was just talking about you.
I was out here.
No, I meant before you came out here.
Oh.
I was like, well, she's not out here yet, so.
Well, I heard you.
Okay. Are you all done? Okay, I'll wrap this up then. Feet pics. Well, yeah, if you get feet pics, they're gonna be me. Okay, they're gonna be from me. Sorry. I'll make sure to shave my feet first, though. It's all right. No worries. But yeah, it is a lot. Homeschooling is definitely. It's my wife says half the time that she gets done at the end of the day, she's like, I'm never doing this again. We're not doing this next year. We have to figure something else out. But it is reality that's like, of all the shitty days you could have homeschooling and all that, it's still you're still, if you can manage to do it even halfway as well as intended, you're still better off than public school. And that's what I would tell anybody who's thinking about homeschooling, because yes, you have a lot of shitty days where your kids have attitudes and you're not their teacher, and they don't listen to you like they would a stranger or a teacher. But at the same time, you have control over what you're teaching them and what you're not teaching them. Whereas if you put them in the public school system, or even some private school systems, it's just, you know, you have no control or no moderation over what is being, you know, funneled into their brains. Cancel your order. Hey, my feet aren't that bad looking. Oh, yeah, well, I was better looking before my hairline all started to go to shit. Not gonna lie. I'm just vertically challenged is all. I've got a very high metabolism and Crohn's disease, so I can't gain a pound. But, yeah, obesity will never be my issue. I'll probably die of a heart attack at some point. I don't know. Oh, no, so yeah, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease a couple years ago. My mom had thyroid cancer, so I know I've probably got a overactive thyroid. And I've got a herniated disc in my back from all my years of beating myself up at the gym and working way too many hours in my family's bakery we had. So I'm in just like massively terrible shape. Hey, I've got
are the best way to show someone how much you care.
Oh, those were legitimate
like
super
this tangible
chats.
thing
I didn't
that you
even know
can
that.
point
That's
to and
hilarious.
say, "Hey, man,
They
I
just
love
came
you.
through.
This many dollars worth."
Hey, Piers, I'll make sure to
cancel
get
my
you some
order.
feet pics, okay? Don't worry. I've got emotes. I just haven't actually had somebody work on new ones in a while. Less chance of balding. See, yeah, unfortunately for me, so I grew up, thanks for the super chats again, by the way, Piers, I appreciate it. I grew up working in the food industry my entire life. So my family, my parents worked for other people, like at the malls with like the pretzel time, the pretzel shops like Auntie Anne's, that kind of stuff. They managed those for a while. They worked at donut shops till eventually we owned our own bakery. And so everything that I've done in my life has been in the food industry, which means you either have to wear a hairnet or a baseball cap. And then, of course, I've always liked baseball caps. So for me, it's like either a cowboy hat or a baseball cap or some sort of hat on my head. Then it got to the point where it was just a habit, and I started cutting my own hair once my parents, split up and my mom moved out and we went and got our own place. Because I'm too damn lazy and cheap to pay somebody else to cut my hair. And so I've basically doomed myself at this point to deal with the whole male pattern baldness. I'm turning 38 next, my birthday's on the 24th. Fun fact, my wife and I have the same birthday. So, actually that's a Monday. This is gonna work out well. Actually, I'll get to do a live stream on my birthday in 2 weeks. Well, thanks, Mackie, I appreciate it. I don't, up close in person, I've definitely got wrinkles. I tell my wife all the time, because she's like, why don't you just get Botox? I'm like, I'm not gonna get any plastic surgery. I'm not dyeing my hair. I'm not doing hair transplant or hair plugs or any of that crap. But I definitely have the crow's feet. In fact, I can do the full face cam. You can see I'm kind of blurry. So yeah, I've got the wrinkles right here, like when you smile and shit. But to be honest, I'm not vain enough to ever worry about like any of that. Most people of European and ethnic people similar to European by genetics have a chance of balding. It's quite genetic, yeah. Well, so my grandfather on my mom's side was full-blooded Sicilian. So he came through New York in 1904. And then her mom was half Irish, half Dutch. So I've got a heavy amount of European on my mom's side. And then my dad's side, he was also French. I don't know if he was Dutch, but he had French, English, just a whole smattering, a whole variety of crap. Oh yeah, Piers, 100%. It's the way to go. Of course, I cut my own hair, my own kid's hair as well. Well, the thing about it is, like, if you smile a lot, you get the crow's feet. And so I was always that person that I didn't like frowning in pictures, scowling and all that. So I'd always smile for pictures and shit. And I never once thought about the fact that in my 30s and then later in my 40s, obviously, I'll have to worry about like wrinkles and crow's feet and stuff. But, well, I'm not sure. Again, aging gracefully is an interesting way of putting it. Because of my lifestyle working so much when I was a teenager, beating my body up, like I said, I was working 12-hour days and then going to the gym afterwards and living really hard when my wife and I first got together. And so I've got a herniated disc in my back, and, that caused all sorts of problems for like the last 10 years. I threw my back out at the gym doing deadlifts. And so now I've got like all these physical things going on. The Crohn's disease, the radiculopathy, the pain in the back, the limited motion in my back. So I'm probably going to look at getting back surgery in the next year or two. I put it off for over 10 years now. And I'm at the point now where it's like, it's not getting any better. I don't have time for more physical therapy, more chiropractic work. So whatever the European half is. Yeah, honestly, the European half kind of gets like, it gets generalized too much, because you could honestly have like Italian, French, and Polish, and not one of those is like the other, although they're all classified as white or ethnically European. But Italians don't look like French, who don't look like Polacks. And yet, for some weird reason, they're all ethnically white. It's the weirdest thing. All right. Shit, we've talked about a lot on here. I'm going to go get ready for bed because my work week is absolute hell. The long and the short version of it, guys, just to kind of fill you in because I'm always complaining about work. I work with my mom. She's trying to retire. I'm supposed to be taking over her business. We have no employees. It's just her and me. This is our busy time of year. She got this idea to retire essentially via being what's the word for it? Flight attendant. And the crazy thing is, it's actually the best idea she's had in a long time. So her idea was she does the flight attendant training. She gets to do that for a few years. The business starts to pay her off, and then she moves on and is able to retire with her limited investments and tiny bit of Social Security she gets from the government and all that other stuff. Not a bad idea. And she'll be doing something she likes. She is still available to come help me when we have different events we have to do, whatever. The problem is she's been doing this flight attendant school now for like the last month in the middle of our craziest, busiest work season. So I am beating myself to death at work, trying to get as much production that I can done, as trying to keep a handle on all of the office related stuff, phone calls and bills and computer work on top of physical work and everything else. And so on top of that, I've got my kids' baseball season just wrapped up. My wife, with the homeschool, with her business, errands and whatnot. We took my mom's dog in because she's not going to be able to keep the dog because, she's going to be flying all over the country. And we're at this point now where it's like, all in the middle of all that, we took our trip to Arizona, Gamergate 2 happened, and my YouTube channel blew up. And it's like, holy shit. So I am stretched about as thin as I possibly can get at this point. So yeah, Purple Sky, my job, basically the long and the short of it, without, this isn't doxing myself because it's not like I'm trying to keep my job hidden, but my mom, her business, we transitioned from our bakery that we had for 30 years to where we have a oil and vinegar company where we do like infused oil and balsamic vinegar and organic herbs and spices and all that kind of stuff. So farmers markets and online sales and trade shows and events is where we actually go to make our money, in-person retail sales, okay? So that being said, I am now single-handedly doing all of the production of all of our products. My mom is actually driving. She got up at 4:30 this morning to do her classes at 6. She was in class till 4 p.m. And tomorrow, after she gets done at 4 p.m., she's actually going to drive back down the hour to come back to our business and try to get some stuff done before she goes back to her hotel and then goes back. So it's been absolute insanity for the two of us. Yeah, I'm on a hit list, I know. Yeah, the break I needed that one night. No, it's legit insanity 24/7 around here. And in the middle of that, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, there's an apartment opening up in the same unit, the same complex my wife and I are in, that's completely renovated, completely updated. None of this nasty carpet that's been here for forever. None of the cabinets from the 70s. They've actually redone all the appliances, all the floors, all the fixtures. The downside is it's more money by like $500 a month. And we have to move in like a month or two if we want the unit in the middle of all of this insanity. Yeah, no, real life is a priority, 100%. But it's not like it takes every ounce of energy I have to make a video. But there are definitely nights when when I don't have a video, typically it's one of two things. Either there was no topic that I got around to talking about or investigating or that I thought there was worth making a video on, or there's just pure physical exhaustion and I just don't have it in me. 9 times out of 10, it's the exhaustion more than the lack of options. There's always something to talk about. It's just that there are those nights I'm like, I just don't have it in me. And that affects my podcast channel much more than this channel. I wanted to start doing an actual sit down for half an hour, line up a few topics, talk about them, record them all the way through, and then cut them up into segments for the podcast channel. I have yet, since I started that channel, to have the energy to be able to sit down and do that. Because every night that I have to make a video, I'm like, okay, I've got to line up I've got like 30 tabs open on my computer right now. I got to line up my information, the things I'm going to talk about, the highlights, the important pieces, and then make a coherent, not always coherent, not always like conducive, you know, video. Sometimes it's all over the place and it makes no sense, not even to me. How you dealing with pandering June Pride Month BS? You know the funny thing? You'll take that apartment? No, I have to have the apartment. We've been half the appliances in our apartment here don't even work properly. No, I have to move into that other apartment. If you want to come crash this one when I move out, you're welcome to it. But I need the other one. Yeah, Pride Month is a complete dud this year. Absolutely hilarious. I'm loving the fact that Pride Month this year is just fizzled out. And let's look. I on Twitter, I spend a lot of time on there with. I follow people that are lesbians or gay or whatever, and they're like, Pride is terrible. Pride is awful. Pride is the worst thing to happen to gay people. And it's like, you may not agree with the lifestyle or the choices of homosexuals or transgenders or whatever, but to be able to converse with normal people who are also homosexual, who are like, hey, none of this pride shit matters. We don't like any of this. This is all just virtue signaling. It's all degeneracy. It's just people that find any excuse they can, you know, to have their junk out in front of kids at parades. And it's like, yeah, I mean, normal gay people, just like normal gamers, just like normal anybody else, 90% of people don't do most of the shit that's being pandered in front of us by the corporations. It's for a very small percentage of people. And that's the sad part, is that for some weird reason, all the virtue signaling, all the pandering, all the degeneracy, it's being catered to a demographic that doesn't even spend money. Like, honest to God, the blue-haired leftist, anarchist type, you know, they hate cops, they hate... Camera just died. Hang on. Using my DSLR, whatever you call it, camera, so unfortunately, it just kind of goes off on its own. Let's see. Most gay people you interact with in real life don't like going to parades? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and the corporation's not even putting their rainbow Pride Month profile pictures up 100%. Content to leave them in peace until they started going after kids. Did you guys see that clip of Nick Merckx? Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. Now, hopefully this isn't too much for YouTube. I don't know. We'll see. Now, Nick Merckx, if you guys don't remember, Nick Merckx, let me switch back to this one here. Nick Merckx is the dude that had his Call of Duty skin pulled from Call of Duty because he told the activists, hey, just leave the kids out of it. Leave the kids alone, right? Yeah, they don't buy the tickets, they don't buy the merch, they don't buy the media, 100%.
Nick, the transphobe struggling against the trans gay. There's no such thing as trans people. That's something that you created. So have fun with your little dreamland, but that's just not even real. Let me break it down for you, right? Penis, dude. Vagina, girl, done. Come in here with that fucking trans.
I mean, once you get called phobic or ist or whatever enough times, you don't even care. When you got Nick Merckx money, you don't care at that point. Because look, the dude has more money, I'm sure, than he knows what to do with. As long as he doesn't blow it all like gambling or whatever, the man's not going to be worried about having a career or having income. You saw that on Hypnotic? Yeah. Like a subspecies, yep. Yeah, so Dragon Core, he was the one that had his skin pack pulled from Call of Duty. Because he said, hey, you know, no matter how you feel. It was when the Muslim families were going at the school boards for promoting the Pride stuff. And, you know, so they had these scuffles outside of the schoolhouses and stuff between these Muslims and Christians and the pro-Pride activist people, right? And he's like, why don't we just leave the kids out of it? I mean, completely normal, centrist, sensible take. And they pulled his skin from Call of Duty. Purple, I don't even know Hypnotic. Okay, so here's the funny thing. Let me break this down for you guys, because I had my first official, unofficial invite onto a live stream by, I can't remember if his name's Roger Athy or Ryan Roger Athy. He's one of the guys that was on Alyssa Mercante's hit list. Okay, so he's one of the guys that she put a list of, of all the YouTubers who've criticized her and whatnot. And he messaged me or mentioned on Twitter today that he'd love to have me on his show. I'm like, I'd totally do it. I'm just on the West Coast, so there's a lot of limitations. I'm in my living room, right? I don't have a room to stream in. My kids, they're not babies. My kids are 9 at the youngest, so they understand that I stream and do videos. But I don't have any privacy, really, and I don't have any alone time out here until after like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So I don't really have the ability to, like, especially because I'm on the West Coast, people who are streaming on the East Coast or who stream earlier in the day, I'm just shit out of luck, unfortunately. So even though I don't really, like, I interact with Hypnotic and Atreus and Smash JT, and I'm pretty tight with John Delarose. I was writing for Fandom Pulse for a while until I ran out of time, and then he switched it to Substack anyways. I could, approach these people about being a guest on theirs or having them on my channel. The reality is I'm on the wrong time zone. If I was on the East Coast where I was at least 3 hours ahead of somebody on the West Coast, and then my kids went to bed at 9:30, well, it's still 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, but I'm on the West Coast. So when I'm available, all these other guys are long done streaming, So I don't even know what time he streams on Saturdays, to be honest. On cocaine and hookers. Who are you talking about on cocaine and hookers? Phobia implies irrational fear. Yeah, that's the craziest thing too. I've watched Hypnotic's videos. Oh, so Smash must be in either Arizona or California. But I don't know that Smash does a regular live stream. He also, I think his kids, he's either, his kids are older or he has the ability. I know he's building like a little shop on his property to do all of his streaming from like a little man cave. We have an In-N-Out here in Washington, but it's like basically on the border with Oregon. So it's pretty far. It's a couple hours drive for me. Oh, spending all this money on cocaine and hookers. Yeah, I'm going to spend my, the $4 super chats you gave me, to buy a new razor blade for my feet so I can give you those feet pics. Dude, there are some legitimately great games out there. If saying leave kids alone is an attack on a community that community needs attacking, yeah, 100%. Honestly, that's probably the most logical conclusion you can draw from that. If saying leave kids alone is a problem for you, then that's a problem. Like, that's a big problem. I've still got my Microsoft Edge browser up here with Alyssa Mercante's face all over it. That's nightmare fuel right there. So I'm going to boot this up real quick. So one of these games, hang on, I'm going to find it real quick. My wife is probably screaming in her head at me that I'm not going to bed yet. Yeah, I've had a few different places reach out to me with keys for like these independent games. One is this, let me bring up my... Let me see here. One is called Lens Island, okay? And I've played this for about, 46 minutes? And honest to God, this game, I wanted to give it a fair shake, but it's basically like if you had like a bare bones survival crafting game that you could play on your phone, that's how this game feels. So I was like, this just feels juvenile. I wanted to give it a fair try, but yeah. Let's see. My fiance were on either coast from 17 to 21. Then I finally moved to South Carolina where she is. I've got friends that are actually talking about moving to North Carolina. My brother finally got back. He's military. He got back from Germany after a few years. And he is actually going to be staying in North Carolina for the foreseeable future. Then there was this other one. What was the other? Oh my God. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this game, Mech Engineer.
Thank you very much, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Who is that? McChris TV. Thanks for the subscription. I appreciate it. Nice to see that Streamlabs is actually working. Life is Strange. I'll look into Life is Strange. It's probably on Game Pass. This Mech Engineer game, guys, I tried playing this thing. Holy crap. This was the most confusing thing I ever played in my life. If any of you have it or are curious, go look into this thing. It is so confusing. It is beyond like mind melting. I could not figure this shit out. But this game here is the one I was talking about earlier. That was this German couple that made it. Where is it at? Striving for Light. So you guys have to tell me what you think about this. I'm just going to play it for a second. Yeah, no, Piers, you're right about that. There are some games where you just feel like it's just not it's not worth it. Choo Choo Charles. Choo Choo Charles. That game was fantastic. One person made it. Dude actually is here in Seattle, so an hour from me.
tempted mankind with
Again, I'm not sure how I feel about the art in this game. On some level, I kind of like it. So it's just like I said, it's a roguelike, I guess they call it. You have like so many attempts to actually get, I think you can die 6 times before it resets. And it's pretty simple. There's a skill tree that's pretty interesting the way it works. You unlock skills and then you can change basically like the, let me show you here, hang on a second. The graphics almost feel like it's, I want to say like a throwback to some of the tabletop games almost. But again, it seems like based on the reviews I've read on Steam, people seem to like the developers. They're pretty based when it comes to actually getting around to updating things or fixing bugs, patching stuff if they need to, which is pretty cool. But like the skill tree, where is it at? So yeah, this is how it works. You have your main skill tree here, and then as you unlock nodes, it unlocks different skill trees. And you can actually use different skill gems to reset the nodes that you want to, unlock in a certain pattern. So it's an interesting game, interesting concept. Let's see, Lost Planet 1 is good. Okay. I've never been to Myrtle Beach. I've always wanted to go, because again, the beaches in Washington suck ass. California beaches are nice and hot, but then you have to go to California. I kind of always wanted to visit Florida, East Coast area. I just don't know, because I'm not big on the whole getting eaten by an alligator thing. The idea of going and getting eaten by a gator is not my thing, But yeah, so this game, I'm gonna give it a go. It's an easy one to play like in my downtime when it was kind of sitting here shooting the breeze. But I want to try to support stuff like this because games that are actually made by people who don't hate their customers, especially things like this that's made by a couple, like man and a woman that just make it because they're passionate about it, I think is very admirable. But if the game sucks, I've kind of said this before because my mom has this thing. My mom's always like, she wants to support like a Christian business. Okay, well that's cool and all. Like if I'm gonna go support a business and you know that they're also nice people and that they're religious or whatever, that's nice, that's great. But if they're bad at their job, the fact that they are Christian or that they vote the same way as you or that whatever the thing is that makes you like them doesn't mean that they deserve your money more than anybody else, because at the end of the day, your money is being spent based on a perceived value that a product has. And just because somebody's personal beliefs might line up with yours doesn't mean that they are entitled to your money. In the same way that people you are ideologically opposed to, who hate you, don't deserve your money, people who agree with you don't deserve your money just because they agree with you. They still have to give you a good product. So I hate that idea that's like, oh, and they're also X, Y, or Z. Well, that's great, but how is their product, I heard a lot. I'll have to check out Lost Planet 1. I don't know about that one. I just think, honestly, there are so many games in my Steam library, and my library is pretty small, all things considered, compared to some other people's library. I've got probably 40 games in here. Probably another 40 or 50 that I've gotten for free from Epic. The whole catalog on Xbox. Not to mention games that I bought, on other platforms. But there's just, I'm going to get the Elden Ring DLC. That's what we're going to play through, I think, the next time I pick up Next time we do a game stream, I'll pick up the DLC for that. I think on the 20th it comes out. But hell, I downloaded Lords of the Fallen because I'm like, oh, that game looked interesting at first. I haven't even touched it, you know? Should be Remake Plus. There's no protag in the game with no face D. I can't ugly them up. There you go. Small studios are where it's at. Play with 4 people on Last Planet if you have friends. But what if you don't have friends? What if you're like me where all of your friends have moved on to do other things and you're basically playing by yourself every night? And yes, I said by, not with. I don't know. Again, I was kind of hoping to play this Dark and Darker game because I played the beta of it last year, and then it was available for like $40. They had this whole thing with Steam because Steam and them got into some contractual issues, so they pulled it off of Steam. And then, you know, it finally came to Steam and it was free. I'm like, sweet, this is awesome. It's like Tarkov without guns. But I don't know. I still got to finish Dead Space, and I know you guys, I know Dead Space is semi-woke because of the way they redid some of the characters' faces and shit, but I still want to finish Dead Space. See, again, I got no time. There's no time for anything. Well, Blu-ray, that's not what I meant. I meant like people that I regularly play video games with. Hey, I went to Oklahoma with my wife last year. My wife and I, we do not do vacations. So it's so weird. We went to Oklahoma, her and I, and then 6 months later, we went to Arizona to take our kids on an actual vacation, which we hadn't done since they were like toddlers, okay? And in Oklahoma, I went to a guy's wedding who I met online a couple years ago, who I had never met in person. I was in his wedding. So you can absolutely make friends online. There's definitely just ask Steam stream friends, people who have the game. You know, yeah, honestly, like when it comes down to it, if there's a game that I'm playing that any of you guys want to play with me, we can totally do that. I mean, I made a Discord. I had some Discord drama, okay? So when I first started on Twitch, I wasn't making YouTube videos. I wasn't getting political or any of that kind of stuff. I had a Discord server, which I still have, but it is private. It is just me and like 4 other people in there. And it turned to shit because there was one person who got involved and everything got political and everybody was at each other's throats because they were all fighting over abortion and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm done. So I made a separate Discord for this channel, but it only has like 4 of us in there right now. And none of us really do much. So when it comes down to where we're actually playing more consistently, I'm actually, you know, sticking with a schedule, live stream on Monday, game stream maybe on Fridays or Saturdays. And, you know, there's a game that's multiplayer. Like if I got Helldivers 2, for example, and people wanted to play with me, we could totally set that up. I'm cool with that. Yeah, no, I didn't get woke vibe from the game itself. It was definitely the effect they had on the female character, making her look like she was 90, you know? Yeah, it's Discord. But that's the thing, though. It's like I had a Discord channel because I was on Twitch for, oh God, I hate Twitch, like 4 years at that point, and it only had like 20 active people in the Discord server, but then they, all of a sudden, this person who I didn't invite in is joined in, and then, you know, he came in a friend of a friend, got an invite, and then all of a sudden he doesn't mesh with everybody else who's in there, and everything turned to shit, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm out, great. Oh, that's funny, Burner. So, okay, Enid, Oklahoma is where I went. Enid is freaking awesome. It's brown, it's ugly, there's nothing pretty there. So it's not awesome. I mean, there's some fields that aren't too bad. There's some trees. Where the wedding was at that I went to was on private property, and it was beautiful property. Trees and stuff, it was really nice. But in general, Oklahoma is really brown and ugly, which is kind of like Arizona, because I've now been there as well. The funny thing about that is that in Enid, it was a town of, I think, almost 60,000 people, and yet it felt empty. And on Sunday, nobody was out. Nothing was open. It was like a ghost town. Very weird. But Enid was great. The people were friendly. Had every store imaginable. I'm talking like anywhere you could need to go, every restaurant you could possibly want to go to. We ate so much food while we were there. I'm like, no wonder everybody in Oklahoma is like overweight, because there was so much freaking food available. They put transgender restrooms in Dead Space? Really? But yeah, Enid was great. My wife and I, we had a fantastic time. Granted, we didn't have the kids with us, so it was a little bit easier to relax when we were like having downtime. But so Arizona, we went to Phoenix, and we did a spring training baseball game the day after we got in. We had a hellish time getting from the airport to our hotel. So we didn't go to bed till like 2:00 a.m. the first night. Got up the next day, went to an afternoon spring training baseball game. The following day, we went to a NASCAR race. And then Monday, we drove to the Grand Canyon. So back to back to back, we were like 3 really long days. And by the time we got home on Tuesday night, I was beyond dead. It was insane. And in the middle of that, the week leading up to that is when the whole Gamergate 2 thing happened with Sweet Baby Inc. and everything. So like I said, ever since that Arizona trip, things have not calmed down for me here. It has been absolutely like one thing after another. And it's good. It's not bad or anything. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. It's been very exhausting. So. Am I for real Piers? I don't know what that is. oh, you're talking to Piers. Oh, you're asking him if he's for real. Yeah, that's, I didn't notice the transgender restrooms. Of course, I only played it like twice. Yeah, no, honestly, Enid was awesome. Enid was great. Like I said, Oklahoma, coming from Washington to visiting Oklahoma had some of the nicest people I had ever met. And they were all like asking me about, because they knew I wasn't from there. They were all asking me about where I was from and what it's like here. And they all thought Washington just sounded great. And that's all like, well, it rains half the time, so it's green. Versus here where everything's brown. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. All right, I am going to go to bed, guys. I'm sorry. It's almost midnight here, if not already midnight. The wife is probably, oh yeah, it's 12:06. I'm in trouble. Oh man. But yeah, this is going to be a regular thing. We're going to do this Monday nights, and then we'll still figure out doing a game stream. And unfortunately, what it means is I won't have videos on Tuesday, I guess, which is fine. Not the end of the world. I mean, they still do purple, but to be fair, it's gotten a lot better. Oh, dude, flyby states are great. Yeah. People shit on them because they're easy targets and because they're not college educated, which means absolutely nothing. All right, Blu-ray Piers, thanks for the super chats. I'll get you some feet pics, don't worry. They just might not be the feet that you were looking for. Purple Sky Blu-ray burner. Don't want to miss anybody. Let me see. Mackie, if you're still here, Dragon Core, Desert Fox. I think I got everybody. All right, guys. I'll catch you later.